All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, joined today by Monkishpenguin of Monsterswap.io, a very cool new trading platform that has just hit the scene. Or have you guys been around for a little while? So before I even do that, I'm sorry, Monkishpenguin, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you taking the time to chat. If you could go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit more about Monsterswap.io.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm Monkish Penguin. Monster Swap is it's a project that's been about a year in the making. It's kind of just now getting out. It's been a lot of work. Took a lot longer than expected, but basically what it is a live peer-to-peer trading
Mhm.
website for Hive Engine or Hive blockchain. Um, right now, we pretty much just support most of the main tokens and Splinterlands assets, but we're trying to get as many games as we can on the site. And it's kind of different in the way that is the main goal, I guess, and what we're trying to do is make a safe place for people to trade assets, off of the
Mhm.
market, um, and do it in a safe way. As the game grows and gets larger and larger, there's going to be bad actors, as everybody who's been in crypto for any amount of time, can attest to. So this is a way to trade assets off the main Splinterlands market. And in addition to that, you can also go straight to whatever token you want. So as opposed to, selling a card for deck and then deciding, I want to go get SPS. So you can go and do a swap on tribal decks, or you could sell your deck for Hive and then go buy SPS. You can go straight from your cards to SPS or to totems or land or anything else
Mhm.
we add to the site. Um, right now we have, I think, 25 tokens. You can trade any card as well, and you can do it all at the same time. So, if you wanted to add up to 200 cards right now, which we're going to increase in the future as we see more traffic. But you could do 200 cards, you could do SPS, deck
Mhm.
all at the same time for a gold foil alpha card if you want. Whatever value you decide to trade with, you can do. So that's pretty much what the site is, and yeah, it's great to be able to show it off. I'm glad it's
Cool.
finally out.
Yeah, well, we'll jump into a little bit of a walkthrough. I think you'll
Yeah.
share your screen in a little bit. But yeah, I agree, because the amount of times that I see on Discord somebody asking for usually like a Maverick or someone from the team to handle a three-way transaction, right?
Mhm.
Or something off market. I've seen that a bunch of times, and I think it's great that we have people in the community that can do that. But there's always, as you said, going to be bad actors, potential for risk, and things like that. So you said this has been around for about a year, or at least a year in the making,
Yeah.
and you guys recently launched. How have things been, considering where Splinterlands is at, maybe when you started, and where it is now?
Yeah, we've had about just under 100 people log in and check out the site so far, which
Hmm.
is pretty good. It's growing fast. I think a couple days ago it was probably 60, so 40
Cool.
in about a day or two. Um, but it's been great. It's a year ago, I guess, was a lot different
Hmm.
with where Splinterlands was compared to now,
True.
but still, I mean, compared to most things you could be involved in right now, I mean, Splinterlands is still killing it, in my opinion. And that's, all thanks to the amazing team that they have and stuff like that. But it's been a really good reaction so far. I mean, we've gotten messages from a ton of people that are just like, this is much needed. Someone
Hmm.
was saying just the other day, who we were talking to, and we were showing him the site, and he was like, I know for a fact that in the feedback channel, he's seen certain bad actors or bots upvoting each other. They're now
Yeah.
people are now commenting saying, "Hey, great trade with this person. Thumbs up," even though it was totally not a trade that actually
Malicious. Yeah.
happened. And, I mean, stuff like that is going to happen, and it's going to come more and more often, unfortunately, as the game grows. Especially with Genesis League Soccer coming into the mix, it's potentially
Yeah.
millions and millions of new users that are going to be joining. Um, so it's been great. It definitely has been a great reaction from people so far. We're trying to get it into the eyes of as much people as possible. So I think it's going to be really good, and the feedback so far has been great. So people are messaging us feedback all the time. So please, if anybody has any advice or feedback they want to give, we'd love to hear it.
Awesome. Well, we have a solid little community that we're building here, so I'm sure many people here will go and check it out.
Yeah.
One thing that, so I want to ask you, because this is a very solid foundation that you guys are building on. There's a core product here that I think, or core service that people need, right? Something that is trusted. It's built on this kind of like escrow system. I've had a chance to check it out. I haven't used it for a swap just yet, but you kind of escrow the assets, and then once everybody signs off, you'll go ahead and make the swap, but only once everybody signs off and everybody has submitted their assets into that escrow system. So my question for you is, okay, this is kind of a nice thing to build out, but what about long-term vision? Are you looking to add anything here? And the reason I ask is because sorry, if you don't mind me expanding on this a little bit.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is because you charge a 2.5% fee, correct? Which I believe is significantly less than the market fees. And I'm just trying to wonder if there's an arbitrage here where at some point players would be able to see a card listed on the market, reach out to that player and say, hey, if you lower it by 1%, I'll buy it. We both make more off of it because we can use this other service. So would you ever get into something like a market service, or what is the future of Monsterswap.io looking like?
So we probably won't ever do a market service. I mean, I love Peak Monsters and Splinterlands and Monster Market too much. I feel like there's so many people that have great sites to do that. We are planning on implementing, instead of doing a live trade, you could put a trade up. So that way it's like, hey, I want to trade 1,000 SPS for the equivalent deck value.
Okay.
And it would be there, it would be held there, and someone could go and fill it at any time. There's some, definitely some things we have to do to make that happen. It's kind of like similar to, I think what Peak Monsters does in terms of like how you share your key with them, so you can do rentals and bids and whatnot, stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot of logistics that we got to figure out with that. But that's kind of, I think we're going to stick with trading. We do have our own game coming soon. This will be towards the end of the year, maybe early next year.
I'm in exploratory mode right now, so please tell me more. I would love to hear about it. If you can share details.
Yeah, we absolutely can. It's I'm sure things will change a lot. It's very fresh, but it's going to be a Tamagotchi style game where you get a monster. It's going to be called Monsterswap. It'll be on the same site. And you kind of are going to do missions similar to Rising Star, but the missions are going to revolve around trying to keep your monster or pet alive. So it'll be kind of something like that. A mission could be replenishing its health or feeding it. Stuff like that is kind of the general idea so far. And then there's going to be a way we're going to utilize the swapping aspect as well in the game. So that's still something we're working on and figuring out, but there'll be some way, whether it's leveling up or something, you can swap your monster for somebody else's potentially, and all of a sudden that one will become a little bit stronger, stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea in the works.
So then the monsters that you have would essentially be NFTs or tokenizable.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Interesting. Because what it sounds like you guys are doing, and I know that this is also probably in a sense like future proofing, but kind of expanding to the entire Hive ecosystem or Hive engine ecosystem, right? Where you'll be able to transfer or trade assets between different games. It's got to be a little exciting to think about all of the really cool games that are popping up on Hive now, especially if you can offer a platform for people to trade, because many folks like myself will play multiple games and be involved in multiple things. And there's not necessarily a market for like, I want to trade one of my Rising Star assets for one of these, right? It's like, I got to sell it, which means I got to find a buyer. Then I got to trade that token that I received as payment for the other token and go buy something else.
Absolutely. That's kind of the end goal. Is if you ever decide, I'm done with Rising Star, I'm done with Splinterlands, and you're like, but I would really love to get into this game. I mean, the end goal is to be able to trade and go from any game you're involved in and swap it for assets, even in another game, as long as it's on Hive.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the end goal, and what we hope to get. And we hope to have every game that's available and that will let us, use their API. We're going to try and talk to the Rising Star team soon, and try and get their assets and cards. They're very strict with their rules and stuff.
They
And
are, yeah.
it's one of those things. We'll see what happens. As far as I know, I think Foxon's site, what is that site called?
RSG fam.
RSG Fam is the only one I think that they've allowed to kind of like use their API or whatever to like buy cards. But I think he's also involved with the team potentially. I'm not really sure, but
Okay.
so that's something, we recently added Star Bits and Star Pro. That's something we just added to the site. We just added Archmage tokens as well.
I saw that, yeah.
But yeah, I think the next game we'll try and get is Rising Star and see if they'll let us start using their API to add some stuff to the site, because I play that myself. I just
Mhm.
I think I hit level 200.
Oh, wow,
Yesterday.
you're way ahead of me then.
But yeah, we eventually want to have every game on Hive that will let
Mhm.
us on the site. We're implementing a chat feature soon. It's going to be a lot easier. If when we show you a trade here, you'll be able to see, flipping back to Discord to confirm, did you say this many of the, we'll have a chat feature, which will make it a
Yeah.
little easier.
Oh, okay. That's great. So I have a couple of follow-up questions, then we can get into the walkthrough. But yeah, so I was going to ask about Discord. Is that the primary place where people are connecting, or do you rely on like the separate game Discords for people to make their way over, I guess?
Yeah, so right now we do have a Discord set up, and right now primarily you pretty much, the site works best when you have a planned out trade and then
Mhm.
go to the site. Because we don't have a chat feature currently, if you want to tweak something, you're going back to Discord and a message, or on our Discord that we have, and you're messaging people and trying to negotiate a trade beforehand, and then moving to the site, and then from there you can confirm things. But until we implement, where you can leave a trade up, or a
Mhm.
chat feature, which is going to be coming really soon, that's kind of the best way, I would say,
Okay.
to negotiate a trade and start setting it up.
Is there a time frame when people can expect this, or do you not want to commit to anything right now?
Uh, Hopefully this month. This month, I think we have we've gotten a lot of good feedback, and we're going to make some changes. It could be as early, as next week, but definitely
Mhm.
by the end of the month. There
Okay.
should be some pretty big changes coming.
Okay. Cool. I am curious because you mentioned, you just added Archmage and you're trying to go with get some of the Rising Star assets. How how easy is it to set up new tokens? Is that something that takes a long time? Is that a lot of effort and energy? And I primarily ask this because, one, there's a very large growing ecosystem on Hive, but then if we look specifically at Splinterlands, which I think is kind of the inspiration for this, there could be some other tokens coming in the future, right? So with land kind of getting uh, busted out into not just the land plot claims right now, but deeds and all these different things, will you be able to hopefully support that right away, or once the features go live?
Absolutely. We also just added the node licenses.
Oh,
Um,
great. Okay.
it's not very difficult at all to add new tokens to the site. If they're on Hive Engine, and tokenizable, it's very, very easy. So we'll keep going. Anything new Splinterlands releases will definitely be up there, because their team is so great at making it just so easy to add their tokens,
Hmm.
as well as the Hive Engine team. So yeah, very easy to add tokens. And I mean, I think based off where things are going, they'll probably be added very regularly. So
Very cool.
yeah,
Okay. If we can, before, and I promise we're gonna get through the walkthrough.
yeah,
We'll
no
get to the
worries.
walkthrough. I'm just curious because I love chatting with builders right now, people who are just creating stuff, either games themselves or just these kind of third party applications. You guys are doing a little bit of both. And before I even say you guys, is it just you, or what does the team at Monsterswap.io look like?
No, so it's three of us. It's me, Monkishpenguin, Pepto, who does most of the software development work, and then EKLO. So
EKLO. Okay.
yeah.
What is your role within that? And I guess if we go back to the inspiration, I'm maybe not even the inspiration, but like, what is your experience with Splinterlands? What's your origin story for Splinterlands? And then how did that lead to this, I guess?
Yeah, I've been here a while, not as long as most people, or not as long as some, but I think I got in right at the tail end of beta. So I think
Oh, cool. Okay.
probably what is that, December 2019, maybe
Okay.
something like that. Um, and I've been playing pretty much ever since. I am a big bot user. You know,
Hmm.
I've had a bot for a long time, a number of bots, but yeah, it's kind of right now. I'm actually in the process. I'm very bullish on SPS, so I'm selling most of my cards and going all in on
Going
it.
all into SPS. I mean, they've made me feel a lot of FOMO about SPS recently.
That's exactly how I feel. You know, doing the math, it's like if cards have gone up so much since I've been around, and they're
Hmm.
still so they're valued so much higher than they were, you know, a couple
Yeah.
years ago, still. And you know, I crunch the numbers, and I feel better about SPS in terms of value, but we'll see.
Well, there's a lot of really exciting things with GLS around the corner, as well as these other like unnamed projects that they seem to be
Yeah,
working on. So that, and then the tokenomics kind of redesign with SPS has made me very,
absolutely.
very, very bullish. But I'm glad I got to chat with you because I like this. I appreciate your perspective. When I talk to somebody who got into Splinterlands in like 2019, I feel like it's talking to a Bitcoiner who got in at 2012.
Yep, it kind of feels that way. Yeah, it's
You've seen some ups and downs now.
definitely. You know, it's one of those things where you know, they joke diamond hands, but I've seen at least 3 times where the market falls like it has, and I've seen
Hmm.
it bounce back every time. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of just like a blip now when you've seen it so many times. Back in 2020,
Excuse me.
um, J69, you know, sold off his whole collection as well as another
I
number
heard
of
about
other
that.
large users, and
Hmm.
you know, things were. I the card that always comes to mind is a gold foil Royal Dragon Archer. I think I got 2 BCX for $60, $80,
Hmm.
and that puts it at level 4 because it was gold. And I think the cheapest one in the market right now is 30K. Obviously, it would never sell
Wow.
for that, but
Yeah.
talking that's how much things are still,
Yeah.
you know, how
Well, I
much
mean, it's
higher value.
just that rare, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, and there's a number of other cards like that too. I mean, um, you know, you could buy Prince Julian or Archmage for nothing. Like
mhm.
I think VC Dragon actually offered to sell me one for 200 or 300 bucks, and I didn't take it. Still, so, it's
Oh man.
different. Back then, it's crazy how things have changed, but I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. I think the best thing, in my opinion, right now is just the regular updates. You know,
Hmm.
it was a long time between updates back in the day, and it was just
Yeah.
because it was like I don't know how big the team was at that point, but now you know they're saying 150 people. Seeing it grow like it has is pretty.
Hmm. So would you say, based on the history that you've had with the game, that this is definitely one of the more exciting times to be involved, or
I
have there
think
been again outside of like the hype cycles, but in terms of like development and what they're working on?
I think so. Absolutely. I think I'm a huge soccer fan. So hearing that the soccer game is coming is pretty amazing. Or
MLS.
football. Yeah, MLS is some
Oh,
people.
okay. Oh, we found one. We found one MLS fan here.
I'm from Atlanta, so we're huge
Fair
MLS.
enough.
Atlanta United is just taking over the city. So
You know what's so funny is I'm from Chicago, and I think there was a period in which like Chicago Fire were dominating,
yeah,
and that still didn't get me into it. But now, oddly enough, crypto, Splinterlands, all this will probably get me to follow it a little bit more. Or at least I think
yeah.
I'm going to start watching some games this weekend.
You know, I was not a soccer fan before Atlanta United came, and you go to one game and I was hooked. It's the
Hmm.
most fun I've ever had at a sporting event in my life, ever.
It's funny, and I've said this multiple times, so people probably heard it already. But like I don't care about soccer at all. But when the World Cup rolls around, I watch it religiously. Do you watch World Cup as well?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just something about like because I love like high level competition, and I feel like the World Cup is where you're going to see the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's and that just shows. I think the team, they know what they're doing. I think they're perfectly in a prime position for this game to come out, and then the World Cup's going to be here before we know it. And I think it's a great idea, and it's a great idea to get that game out before the others.
yeah,
I was thinking, why did they go soccer over baseball, football, whatever other games they have? Part of it is probably partnerships, MLS being a lower tier sport, I guess, in the country may be one reason, but I think it's just perfect timing to get that one running. They say, looking at the statistics and stuff, soccer is going to be the most popular sport here in 10, 15 years. So it's changing.
I don't doubt it with all the football injuries and all that. I mean, I love football, right?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I love football, but I would never let my kids play it. I would push them into soccer. So, but I know this,
As a Atlanta Falcons fan, I love football too until 2016. So,
Oh, was that the big comeback? Was that the 28-3? Oh, well, yeah, I feel for
that
you,
was
my
the
friend.
day that I was like, all right, I got to get interested in another
In
sport.
another sport. Fair enough. Well, okay. I appreciate you giving us the trip down memory lane here. We can go ahead and hop into the actual application. So if you want to pull that up, and then I'll add your screen here.
Yeah, I'm going to let me. I'm gonna have to flip back and forth if that's okay.
Sure.
Because you need two people to do a trade, so I'm gonna flip back and forth between Firefox here and Chrome.
Do you want me to trade with you something? Will that make it easier?
That would make it easier. It's up to you. We can do something small just while we explain it, if that works for you.
I mean, you can give me any of your gold foil alpha legendaries. I don't mind.
Those are all listed. I think most of my stuff is either sold or is gonna hopefully sell soon. I did. I'll say this too. Well, if you're okay editing something out, but I did Ian Miners. I don't know if you've ever played against or heard of Ian Miners.
No, I don't.
We had
I've heard. I always read it as N miners.
that. So that's what everybody thinks, but it's
Okay.
Ian Miners is kind of what I did. So
that was your bot?
yeah, we have 106, I think, all in gold. We started.
Wait, okay, hold on. So you want me to edit this part out, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can if you find something useful. I don't really care. We're trying to sell our account, so if people want to go buy, that's fine. But yeah, it's just
we'll talk about it later. Okay.
Yeah. Talking
So
about memory lane, it's we had 106 bots back before they had the collection power caps. So all 106 were in Champion 2.
Oh my goodness.
Every season.
That's insane.
So it's definitely I mean, we're selling because of all the bot changes.
Yeah.
It's not viable anymore, but it's pretty crazy looking back on what we used to be able to do.
Yeah, well, so that's okay. Well, this is so fascinating now, and I mean, again, if you're comfortable with me, I'd love to share the little exchange we just had. If not, or we can cut it out. But I'm curious to know how the bot changes are actually affecting bots. And so it sounds like it's gotten to a point, at least for you, where there's better opportunities, I should say, within the game or within the ecosystem.
Yes. So I've never, I'm not a very big software guy. I've never made a bot. I've always used someone else's bot service. But the biggest issue is that as the game grew with more users, it became harder and harder for a bot to win. Now, how we got around that is I ran every account down to about 5% capture rate. That was how we got it done, because pretty much what we realized is, yes, if your capture rate is at 80, 75%, whatever, you make more. But because the bot only is going to win about 51% of the time, you actually end up making more if you run it down all the way to 5% and just let it play nonstop hundreds of games a day.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of our strategy, and it worked very well. And some bots did the same thing, but not many. That was kind of something we just crunched the numbers and figured out we can actually make more because you're going to get so many more wins playing more games.
Mm-hmm.
If the bot was great, like the Archmage bot is amazing. It's
Okay.
that would kind of change things a little bit, but obviously getting 106 of those tokens would be pretty difficult and expensive.
Yeah.
So
If
that's
you
kind of why
wait long enough, I feel like there'll be enough on the market. But
I
I,
think
I
so.
understand.
I think so. And it actually ultimately it came down to we were like, okay, let's get into SPS. We crunched the numbers. We actually started selling our cards and account before the latest bot changes, but that was definitely the nail in the coffin, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Ian,
You're talking about the ECR changes that
yeah,
came about? Okay.
that was the big one because after 50% now, I mean, it'll go all the way down to zero. You used to be able to run it. If you ran it enough, it would go down. I said 5%, but it was more like 9 to 12.
Yeah.
And it would just not go any further. At that rate, it wouldn't go lower than about 9.
You could only play games fast enough, right?
Yeah. And that's what it came down to is
Yeah.
like, you can only find a match so fast. So we settled on like running it every 5 minutes, but that's kind of where it. But yeah, that was the nail in the coffin. So.
Okay, well, it's interesting to know, and like I said, I mean, if you're comfortable with it, then I'll
Yeah,
share that just because people are so what's the word I'm looking for here? I want to be diplomatic, but it's a very hot topic in the community. I don't think people understand fully how different it is and how different the Splinterlands world was like a year ago, right? Or even 2 years ago when bots were being run, because the DEC rewards I don't think were worth it like 2 years ago. Like you probably weren't getting anything.
So you got it was actually pretty good only because there were so few players back in the day.
Oh, I guess that's true too. Yeah.
Back in the day, I want to say in Champion you could earn 200 deck a win. I mean, it was crazy. And packs were cheap. Packs were about $2 then. So that was pretty nice.
You just roll that over into packs.
I think I definitely get the sentiment around bots. I think back when people were running 10,000, I think is what Fire King may have had in Brawn. I definitely got why they changed that because of how many rewards it was pulling. Ours were always a little bit different. We always had mid-level to high-level bots. After the collection power requirement, they became kind of mid-level, but they've always been in gold and stuff like that. We've never tried to do, we always wanted to have 100 in, mid-tier as opposed to 1,000 in bronze.
Bronze, yeah.
That would have been more profitable, apparently, to do it the other way, at least for a while. But
I do have a follow-up question for you though. With SPS rewards around the corner, would playing with the bots that you have right now, is there no kind of like desire to see what the earnings could look like for them playing at the levels that they're currently at?
There kind of is, but it ultimately came down to the price of SPS. We started selling when SPS was like dipping into the 4-cent range.
Yeah.
Bought most of it, sold a ton of cards, and 5 cents. Now it's 7.6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it ultimately came down to what's our account value. I did it with EK Low as well. The miners. That's why I keep saying our. But we crunched the numbers and looked at what's our account value. How much higher do we think this could go? Or if we got an SPS, at this price point, and it happened to go back to $1 or 50 cents, whatever, what would we get? And I mean, the math kind of spoke for itself when we started crunching the numbers. So,
fair enough. Okay.
Ultimately, I mean, the staking rewards too, when you reach a certain point, are just very, very high. So,
yeah.
I don't know what the SPS numbers will look like, and we'll see if I made the right call, but it's kind of like a time crunch thing where it was like, all right, what do we want to do? Do we want to wait or
sure
kind of choose one path and see if we chose right? I think we chose the right way. We'll see.
I mean, in some ways, I think it's very hard to go wrong in this game. There's just different levels of success, and I would agree with you that I'm incredibly bullish on SPS now, where I wasn't maybe like a month ago. Even though I probably should have been, I was probably more protecting my own emotions of just like.
I think I saw the video where you said you started selling some. So
Well, what's funny about that is I did sell some. I sold, it was less than 5% of my total thing, but I bought an Alpha Archmage token with it when that was going for like $200, and so that already has done multiples, and
yeah,
it's made my life much better. So
that's good.
I'll always look at that and be like, that was SPS well spent.
Yeah, that's Archmage is pretty impressive. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen a bot that good.
Hmm.
J69, before he sold his account, or his accounts, he had a bot too that was very high level, and it was impressive. I mean, going against him in some tournaments was brutal.
Yeah.
Um, I remember he would always say it had the ability to look at your previously played matches, see what you played, and I mean, it really almost knew what you were going to pick before you did. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, I do wonder, as the game evolves and with land, how how bots will eventually not necessarily be phased out, but
Yeah,
as the game gets more complex, I think it becomes much more difficult to have competitive bots, right? Because now
absolutely.
with the changes, it's you don't just need to have a bot that can play and have enough energy or ECR, but they need to get wins.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm with you in the sense that like one of the reasons that I never got into bots or was interested is, one, because I'm lazy and I'm not technical, but two, I always felt like it was going to be an uphill battle, right? Like all these changes were eventually going to get there. And I think we just hit this lull period in the first half of the year where the team brought on so many people and onboarding that we weren't getting those updates that we thought.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that once land comes, I think it gets much more difficult. It's probably going to become
Hmm.
something like Rising Star, where there may be click to claim things and time.
Yeah,
It becomes much harder at that point, especially like when people start using items and stuff in battles that change.
exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what I was referring to. If there's multiple phases of battle now,
Right.
then it just like that it's exponentially much more difficult, right? To
Yeah.
or complex, I should say.
Yeah. I like the way they're doing it though. Instead of just trying to ban bots outright, they're going to let the game speak for itself. And I think it eventually will reach a point where, maybe it just becomes
Mhm.
too difficult. And I think the game too, I think people bought because it is kind of like an auto battler still.
Yeah.
But as that changes and more things come to play, I think it'll just be more fun to just play it, yourself as well. So
Agreed. Yeah. No, I'm fully on board with that. And this is the problem, is that I think people think that just banning bots as a solution is going to work, but
right,
it goes against the whole like ethos of what the team is trying to do with decentralization. So like the argument to me is just moot, because it's just like, if you want them to ban bots, then you don't understand what they're trying to build. And I say that lovingly, right? It's just like you gotta like study the team and this project and this thing that you're invested in, and
yeah,
make sure you fully understand what they're trying to build, because banning bots, or really it's not even bots, but banning any accounts ever, is what they want to stay away from. They would rather design the economy in a way that it incentivizes, or actually disincentivizes, bad behavior, right? You see this
absolutely.
with a lot of the top projects out there.
Yeah, it was very different back in the day too. Like if bots didn't exist back when I started, I mean, even with bots, you waited sometimes 3 or 4 minutes for battle.
Hmm.
It was just this was back when I think there were 6, 7,000 players. So without bots, that was kind of what kept the games going.
Yeah.
And I think still did up until recently when the game's user base spiked. But yeah, it's interesting to see all the comments around botting and what people think for sure.
All right. Well, that was a fun kind of aside there. I appreciate
Yeah,
you kind of
absolutely.
indulging my curiosity. So I have Monsterswap open, and I would like to try this with you, if that's all right,
Yeah,
so that I
absolutely.
can get a little bit, and then let me go ahead and I can share your
Real quick,
screen. Oh,
real
go ahead.
quick. Do you have tokens on Hive Engine?
I can get some tokens on Hive Engine,
So
relatively
that's the
easy.
one thing with the site is tokens. All tokens have to be on Hive Engine, and all cards have to be off market and unlocked. Those are the only two things
Okay.
required.
Well, let's do this, because I don't know how many unlocked cards I have. Oh, I might have some.
And what you can do, if it's easiest, I'll send a card and some tokens. And if you just want to send one deck or something like that, just to see it, that's fine too. Or you
I'll
can
send.
even do 0.001 deck. We can keep it as small as possible.
It's okay. I'll send you 2.
There we go.
I mean, whatever you want, but I would like to be able to walk through the process. So
Yeah,
let me
absolutely.
go ahead and put some deck out. And actually, if you don't mind, I would like to get a card in here as well. So I'm probably
Yeah,
going to throw you one of the rewards cards that I haven't locked up yet.
perfect.
So here, if you want to pull up the screen on your end, and then I'll go ahead and share your screen while I get my side ready.
Let me switch accounts here real quick.
Let me see. What do I have unlocked? Guys, another reminder to make sure you lock your cards
Absolutely.
just in case. Oh, here we go. I got some Luke Place to Earn would love this. I have a bunch of Gargoyle lines that are unlocked. So here we go.
Awesome.
All right. So I got that unlocked, and I got some DEC on Hive Engine. Let me go ahead and share your screen so people can see what it looks like from your perspective. Now, walk me through it.
Okay, this is the home page. Just a quick explanation, of what it is. There's a note down here. We're going to change the font of this and make it a little more noticeable because we have seen some people don't read this part. But first thing is any tokens need to be on Hive Engine, and then cards need to be unlocked and off market for them to show up. We have a helpful little price tool up here, which has SPS Deck and Hive, shows you the price. Here's the account that you're using, and then we have a Discord link and a Splinterlands link over here in the bottom. Now, to do a trade, you just click the trade screen and then live trading. This is one of the support accounts, so I can access, other trades that have happened in case anybody has an issue. Definitely come and contact us on Discord if you do. But you also, each user will have a history page that'll, kind of show like a little receipt of what they've traded in the past. But if you click the live trading window here, there's 2 options. One is create a lobby, and that's going to create a public lobby. Or if you didn't want, what'll happen when you create a public lobby is basically you'll see that person's name here, and you can click on it. If you wanted to keep it off of that screen, you can create a private lobby. And what that would do is just give a URL link that you could send on Discord to a person you wanted to trade with. And they could click that link and it'll bring them into the lobby, but it wouldn't show up publicly. That would kind of be something. Yeah, that was something we put when we thought, if we ever have 10 people on it and someone clicks the wrong name or something like that, you may start getting frustrated if someone's entering your lobby. So we kind of created a private option as well.
Cool.
But for us, since no one's on at the moment, I can click create lobby here and you should see my name pop up.
Yep. Monkishpenguin's lobby.
And then I X'd out of the little message, but that message that shows up is just a reminder to make sure your cards are unlocked.
Yeah. Okay. I got the same one.
Perfect. And then pretty much it'll load any of your unlocked cards here. And it has, the card ID, the edition, the element, and you can sort all of this stuff however you want.
Can you search? Oh, yeah, you can search.
Yep, there's a search option. And then you can also click how many entries you want on a page, which is disabled now. Oh, well, there it goes. But just because I only have about 10 cards, it looks like. And then there's different pages down here as well. Right now, the cap on cards is about 200. But we're up that. That's more. It's basically because server costs for the site currently, as we're just getting out there, are very expensive. So we've kind of have it capped at 200.
Got it. Okay.
Which we've traded, or we've seen some trades that are larger, and right now they've kind of just been doing about 3 different lobbies, and they'll do 200 at a time. But that cap will go up soon. So over here you see, your name and the person you're trading with. Here you can select any tokens you want to add. We have quite a bit. So deck, SPS, vouchers.
Wow, cool.
Alpha packs, any packs are on here. Plots, tracks, regions, totems, Archmage tokens, node licenses.
And this is cool that I can see it on your screen in real time when I add stuff as well.
Yes, yes. So that's the big thing is we kind of set it up to where anything. So if I add a card, you should be able to see this show up on your end.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I add some deck, and then I'll even add, let's see if I have any, I'll add some SPS. And you can pretty much add as much as you want of any token that you have. If you don't have a token, it pulls straight from Hive Engine and kind of shows that you don't. It also shows the value of the trade, and this is pulling from market data as well as for the tokens. It's like the currently listed price on Hive Engine.
Yep.
It shows you the fee, which, as we discussed before, is 2.5% per user. So it kind of matches the 5% on the market, but splits it because it's a trade. It's kind of viewed as
okay.
However, we've gotten a lot of feedback on the fee price and the structure we have. And what we're doing, and this will be another update that comes out relatively soon, is there's going to be an option to change the fee for a specific trade. And what that kind of means is right now it's defaulting to 2.5% per user. But let's say that you negotiate a trade and someone's like, if you make this trade, I'll cover the fee. And then that way you can come in a Monsterswap and there'll be a way to change to where I would cover the whole fee, for example. Or you split it 70-30, 80-20, however you want to do it. So that's going to be a feature coming soon. From here, this is where you can kind of say, okay, I see that you're sending one deck and one Gargoyle Lion, and then I have here, if you are okay with that, then I can go down here and click accept. And then what it's going to do is it's saying waiting, and it's going to wait for you to hit accept.
Okay, for me to hit accept.
Yep.
Now, there's a couple of buttons here that say like accepted, fee paid, all that. Is that just?
So what that's going to do is after, and this is kind of what took the longest to build for. Oh, go ahead.
So I just hit accept. So I just want to let you know.
Yep. And then my button, you can see switch to confirm. And this is kind of like, we did 2 steps just so this is the last time to verify, I like the trade. Once you hit accept, by the way, it locks you from deleting things. You can't go in and change anything. Like I just hit it there, but it won't take it away. And that's kind of a safety step to where someone's not, Xing out of a token at the last second before you hit something. So this is why the second confirm step exists, because it's like the last time that I can see, okay, deck, Gargoyle Lion, I'm good with that. And if you hover over the card, by the way, let me exit out of that. If you hover over the card, by the way, it shows you the level and the, let's see, 1 second.
Yeah, I get to see the full card, which is kind of cool.
It's ran out of application memory here.
Oh, that's what that is. I'm like, I'm not getting that screen.
There we go. It keeps doing it. What is 1 second? Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I mean, I like this. I like the way that you have it set up here with this kind of like a double confirmation.
Yes. So and that, yeah, the last time that you can kind of look, but wow, hold on, we may have to redo this. I guess it's the StreamYard is using all my RAM.
Oh, using everything?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to, I guess I can close out of Discord too. Maybe that'll help. It's weird. It wasn't doing that a second ago, though.
Yeah. Well, why don't we just go ahead and go through the, or hit confirm? Yes.
So then we can hit confirm, and this will be, it'll wait for you to also hit confirm. And then this is when Hive keychain will pop up.
Okay.
And it's going to do, so we have to do separate keychains for each separate token. And then you can do a certain amount of cards together. So for me, for example, I'll have 3 keychain confirmations, and it kind of shows the deck being sent, trading on Monsterswap.
Yeah.
Confirm.
I had 2. Okay. So that
makes sense. And then the next one will come up, which is the SPS.
Now, where is the fee taken out of? Is that taken out of any?
It's the next step.
Oh, okay.
So it's not taken out of anything. It's an additional payment option. So basically, after you send the cards, this is kind of the last step before things send. And you can see it says validating on Hive blockchain.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
A full validation system that's going to check every card before it sends it to the person. And it verifies, that things were received, that things went well. And you can pay the fee in deck or SPS.
Okay.
I think I have enough deck. Let's do this, and then you can hit pay fee.
So
and
is
then
that 17 DEC that to pay?
17, yes.
Okay.
It looks like the fee's about 1 penny for this trade, which is actually, it would actually be less. I
Is
think
that where DEC is right now? Okay, hold on. I need to send a little bit more DEC out.
Yeah. And the one thing too, if you're sending more deck to Hive Engine, we can test it. It may not refresh in time. We'll see, but I'll wait for you, and we can try and see if this goes through.
Got it. Okay. Well, let me go ahead. I'm gonna hit pay fee now.
Yep.
And should be good to go.
And then you can kind of see those bubbles filling up. Accepted, sent, fee paid, and then it'll say trade complete if this goes through. This is one of the few, I guess, bugs that we have noticed. Oh, it actually went through. Perfect. I think it should be okay here.
Cool. I got a receipt page.
Yep. And that's it. And then you should see the Pellicore Bandit coming through any second.
Yep. I got a gift from Monsterswap.
Yeah. Perfect.
Awesome.
What I was saying too is we've had some trouble where if you send more deck or DC, I always said deck until recently when people started collecting me.
You know, you're not the only one. So I don't know if I'm a newbie or what, but it sounds like a lot of the older folks say deck. So
yeah, that's what I always thought it was until like I think a recent AMA. I think Agrid was like DEC, and I was like, have I been saying it wrong the whole time? But that was one thing that we were recently working on is if you send DEC to Hive Engine after you've already opened the lobby, it wouldn't go through, but it looks like that's working okay now. So that's perfect.
Okay.
Great to see. But basically, if I can show you one more thing, if we want to go into another lobby here.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what happens if someone were to leave. So I'll create a lobby. And we can go in here.
All right, I'm in.
And then from here, what we can do is I'll add 0.002 DEC. And you can add anything. You won't actually send anything. It's fine.
Okay.
So you could just put 0.001 DEC if you wish.
Oh, whoops. All right. Hold on. I accepted too early.
No worries. That's a good example. If
I hit cancel. So
yeah, that's a great example of what happens. Actually, that's exactly what I was going to do.
Okay.
It boots you from the lobby. And a note comes up that a user has left the trade lobby and this lobby has been closed. Please create a new lobby if you wish to continue. And that's basically the biggest safety feature of Monsterswap, is that if anybody leaves, it doesn't matter. I'm going to have to keep this. If anybody leaves, doesn't matter when. If anything's been sent, it's automatically returned.
Got it. Okay.
A big safety feature that we developed. And the way that it kind of works is it doesn't matter if someone hits cancel, if they turn off their computer, if they close a tab, even if they get all the way to the fee step and leave then, everything's going to be returned immediately. That's kind of what we've been testing the past year, and trying to make it as safe as possible. So you never have to worry, when you do a peer-to-peer trade now, someone's going to send first. You can use a mod or someone's going to send first, but this keeps everybody safe and you can kind of go through it at your own pace, knowing that it's going to be all right if they were to back out or if anything were to happen. I also want to mention we have, sorting options here for people who have a lot of cards. It's pretty much copied straight from the website, from Splinterlands, and you can just kind of sort between your cards if you have a large collection.
Yeah. And these are all the unlocked cards, or it looks like it includes some locked cards.
Let's see on your screen.
I'm just curious because I'm looking up, let me see, legendaries. Yeah, some of these cards I believe are locked.
They shouldn't be showing if they're locked. If
okay, maybe I'm not thinking about it the right way.
And so even if that were to happen, if something like that went wrong, the validation step still takes account for that. So basically what would happen is even if it were to show up, it would never take note of receiving that card, and the trade wouldn't go through and things would be sent back. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a kind of foolproof way on the team side of things.
yeah.
If you lock your cards there.
And I'll show you because you left last time. Let me,
Here, I'll add something into.
yeah, this time I'll leave and I'll even send something, and then we can see if I get it back. So let's go with 5 DEC, and it'll change that number up here, and then we'll hit accept.
Okay.
And then you can just do nothing. Pretty much I'll hit confirm and I'm going to send it here.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, hit confirm for me. And then just don't approve the keychain, basically, is what we'll do.
Oh, okay. All right. I had confirmed.
Yep, perfect. And then you can, what I'll do is I'll send the 5 DEC. So I have 93.69, confirm. And then basically right now, it brought up the pay fee screen for me. And then if you don't send it, what I'll do is I'm going to go home, and you'll see that it'll boot you from the lobby.
Yep.
And it'll give you the note. And then what we can do is we'll wait just a minute here. And then I'm going to pull up. Why does it keep? And my computer is messing up at the moment.
Oh, you know, I just noticed that your camera's frozen.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's yeah. My computer, it keeps bringing up that I'm out of RAM.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess StreamYard must be using a ton.
I think it is. But let me go. Let's see if we can get this. All right. That's not going to work. What we can do is we'll go to Hive Engine. $93.69, and if we go to the history from Monsterswap, I sent it and it was returned in a minute. So if anything, you know, this is kind of the whole idea, is that it's a safe way to trade, live trade with another person without sending your assets first or needing to get a mod. As the game grows too, that's the other thing. I've done a lot of trades using you know, a team member as a mod and stuff. And as the game grows and gets more popular, you know, it's been harder and harder to do that. You can always try and get a trustworthy friend, but you know, anytime you send assets to someone else, you know, not knowing they're going to send it if you send it first, I think it's just something that, that was kind of the idea that this could be improved, you know, and no matter what, who goes first, whoever you meet, this is the safest way to do it. So.
All right, Monkishpenguin, I appreciate that. That was actually a great tutorial. Thank you for letting me walk through it with you. Absolutely. I know there's some computer issues, but we're past that now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I really appreciate, you know, you giving us the chance to show it off. It's definitely been a big project and a lot of work. And it's nice, you know, after a year's worth of work to be able to show it off and see how people like it and what they think. So
great. Well, congratulations on the release. I'm excited to see what you guys do in the future with it, because I think where I get excited is the kind of expansiveness that you have for all of Hive Engine. I'm really bullish on GLS potentially bringing a lot of eyes onto Hive, and so not necessarily just GLS, but a lot of the other games like we were talking about, Rising Star, and you know, I'm starting to cover a lot of different games or projects on Hive. So I think that there's definitely a market and an audience for people who want to go old school bartering rather than you know, having to pay all the fees and swapping and all that.
Every cent counts. That's what I always say. I mean,
true.
Even, you know, a 2.5% fee over instead of 5 it adds up. As someone who's selling most of their cards, the fees add up. I can promise you that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the walkthrough. I appreciate you taking the time to give us your perspective again as a beta player. I'm going to label you as a beta player because that just makes you one of the OGs in my eyes.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to leave folks with? And I will specifically ask you to provide maybe like the website again and Discord or any other places where people can reach you. And then I'll also include that in the discussion section below, or the description section below on the video.
Perfect. Yeah. We're at monsterswap.io. We'd love you guys checking us out. Give us any feedback you have right now. It's still fresh. One of the things that a good example of feedback we just got is someone said the confirm button that we saw earlier, it wasn't really clear that I needed to click it again. Maybe you could change it green. And I was like, that's a fantastic idea. And so stuff like that, anything, everything helps. We'd love all the feedback. You can find us on Discord. Please join, and trade away. If you need anything, we're on Discord and you can reach us there.
Awesome. Well, Monkishpenguin, thank you again for taking the time. I look forward to hearing more about this game, and you are welcome to come back in the future if you got ever have any major updates or releases. So
absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too.